This evening we celebrate the Baroque painter Michelangelo Merisi de Caravaggio through the scores he depicted in 4 of his paintings. The Musicians, 1595, The Lute Player, 1596, Rest on the Flight to Egypt, 1597, and Omni Vincit Amor, Love Conquers All, 1602. Caravaggio's attention to the accurate transcription of the music notation allowed musicologists to identify the repertoire to a collection of madrigals. Tonight, our national choir, KorMalta, under the direction of Riccardo Bianchi, accompanied by lutenist Renato Cadel, will present the madrigals painted by Caravaggio, as well as other works from the same period. This music was most certainly familiar to Caravaggio, probably performed at the residence of his patron, Cardinal Francesco Maria del Monte, at Palazzo Madama in Rome, where Caravaggio lived for about 3 years, between 1597 and 1601. Tonight, we will share the music soundscape of Caravaggio, but we shall also share this wonderful venue with the painter, because shortly after his arrival in Malta in 1607, he was summoned as a witness in this very same building. The case involved an accusation of bigamy against another painter, likely of Greek origin, who was also residing on the island. The incident that prompted the investigation occurred in the house of the Knight Fra Giacomo Marchese, where Caravaggio was present during a conversation in which someone asserted that the Greek painter had 2 wives. We will continue our music journey with the painting Rest on the Flight to Egypt. In this painting, the Madonna sits cross-legged on the ground, cradling the infant Christ in her lap. The baby sleeps peacefully, but the mother's rest is more fitful. Mary's head lolls, her cheek resting on the crown of the infant Christ's head. Her brow is furrowed. The heavy-headed Mary is a refugee, huddled with her baby, snatching a moment of rest while she can. On the other side of the painting sits a wizened, grey-bearded St. Joseph. Wrapped in folds of heavy brown cloth, he has the weather-worn face of a working man. He rubs one of his bare feet with the other, in a way that suggests he's feeling the cold. The objects beside him, a bundle wrapped in green striped cloth, and a flagon of wine sealed with a twist of paper, speak of the family's hurried displacement. Caravaggio's Holy Family is very much in hiding. They nestle close together within a bower, sheltered by undergrowth. Like illegal immigrants seeking to avoid detection, they've made themselves small and unobtrusive. The painter's biblical source was the book of Matthew, which accounts the event immediately preceding Herod's massacre of the innocent. The angel of the Lord appeareth to Joseph in a dream, saying, Arise, and take the young child and his mother, and flee into Egypt, and be thou there until I bring thee word. For Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. Between Mary, cradling the Christ child, and the figure of Joseph, Caravaggio has included the angel of the Lord, a smooth-skinned adolescent boy, scantily draped, seen from behind, face, and half profile. The only upright form in the painting, the figure resembles a pillar of divine light against the dark clouds that hover over the landscape in the background. The angel plays the violin, while Joseph obligingly holds up a musical part book. The music being played has been identified. It is the 4-voiced Quam, pulchra, et quam decora, composed by Noël Bauldewijn, circa 1480 to 1520, to a medieval text drawn in patchwork fashion from the verses of the Song of Songs. commissioned by Vincenzo Giustiniani at around 1596, while Caravaggio was living in the household of his patron cardinal, Francesco Maria del Monte. An effeminate young man claps at the strings of a lute while gazing out at the viewer with an expression of such sulkiness that his eyes seem to be brimming with tears. Two musical part books and a violin lie on the table before him, besides some scattered fruit and a glass carafe full of flowers. The scene is lit by a bright diagonal shaft of light that casts strong shadows. The singer's face is androgynous, but the shirt open almost to the waist reveals no sign of a cleavage. It is possible that Caravaggio's Lute Player is an idealized portrait of Del Monte's promising but potentially troublesome castrato, Pedro Montoya. Montoya joined the Sistine Chapel Choir in 1592 and left in 1600, so he was almost certainly in Del Monte's household when the picture was painted. The soft, hairless skin and slightly swollen face of Caravaggio's lutenist are consistent with the hormonal side effects of castration. There may be a glancing allusion to the pitch of the boy's voice in the part books that lie on the table before him. The 5-stage sheets of an open part book reveal a number of madrigals. Beneath lies another part book prominently marked bassos. It is closed. Perhaps the painter's way of indicating that this particular singer never would be capable of hitting these notes. The painting is in such good condition that the sheet music open on the table is still legible. 4 madrigals by the Flemish composer Jacques Arcadelt, circa 1505 to 1568, Chi potrà dir sulla dura durezza voi sapete and vostra fui. Their texts are a compendium of the conventions of courtly love tradition, shot through with plaintive simile and metaphor. Beauty that blinds like the sun, ardent fires of passion, cold unyielding marble of a proud woman's heart. The madrigal selected for our recital is Chi potrà dir. Who can express with sweetness I taste, in gazing on that proud light of my lady, that shame the celestial sphere? Not I, who am unable to find within myself the proper words, so that looking on her beautiful face and mien, so as not to see you as well, I would deign to lose together both life and light.
Quam
Painted around the end of 1595, The Musicians is one of the artist's most puzzlingly unorthodox creations. 4 young men wearing classical drapery have been crowded into an airless interior. The central figure meets the spectator's gaze with a languorous, distracted look, absent-mindedly fingering the strings of the lute that cradles in the crook of his right arm. Behind him, a dark-haired boy holding a barely visible cornetto, a hybrid instrument of the Renaissance, with a trumpet-like mouthpiece and the finger holes of a recorder, looks up in a way that suggests that the troupe has been disturbed while rehearsing. A third young man, pressed so close to the foreground that he might almost be on the point of falling out of the picture, studies a sheet of music. The score has been identified as the madrigal Pompeo Stabile, composed by Pompeo Stabile. He is presumably the singer, and therefore the star attraction. But he looks as though he's still learning his song, and his back is conspicuously turned to the viewer. He wears his costume carelessly, as if he knows that nothing much is going to happen for a little while yet. The folds of white cloth in which he is draped have fallen off his shoulder and become ruched up under the purple silk bow meant to hold them in place, leaving him almost naked from the waist up. The somewhat ragged group is completed by a curly-haired boy sitting to the right of the lutenist, who has a pair of Cupid's wings strapped to his back and a quiver full of arrows hanging at his right shoulder. But firing darts of love is plainly the last thing on his mind. He looks down and helps himself to some grapes, as much out of boredom as hunger. The Musicians was clearly one of Caravaggio's better-known early pictures, but as a whole the combination radiates an air of contrivance. It resembles a frieze or bas-relief rendered in paint. The 4 boys are so similar in aspect and demeanour, they might be clones of each other. The suspicion lingers that they're all based on the same figure, depicted from different angles, and then collaged together to form a sort of single composition. The young man at the back with the cornetto resembles Caravaggio himself. The painter arrived in Rome from Milan just 3 years before painting this picture. And here he is now, in the European capital of art. He's already bold enough to place himself inside the painting, looking straight at the viewer, as if to tell us, I am the artist behind this work, and I am here to stay. Caravaggio's painting, Omni Vinci Amor, or Love Conquers All, painted in the summer of 1602, is the single stunning exception to the prevailingly solemn body of work produced by the artist during these middle years of his career. The most nakedly libidinous of the painter's secular mythological works. It is a mischievously joyful celebration of eros, a laughing proclamation of the power of sexual love. A smooth-skinned, naked young Cupid confronts the viewer with a peckish smile. Awkwardly perched on a table draped with a white sheet, he occupies an interior cluttered with the stuff of intellectual, artistic, military, and political endeavor. Men may fight and dream, create and aspire, but in the end, love will always triumph over all. The objects strewn at Cupid's feet and by his side form a dispersed but uniquely haunting still life, a hallucination of things. They allude to the arts, sciences, letters. A compass and a triangle representing architecture as well as geometry are prominent in the left foreground. A manuscript, emblem of literary ambition, lies open and abandoned on the floor. A laurel wreath has been dropped onto an empty cuirass and other scattered pieces of armor. These signs of military glory undone are complemented by the crown and scepter, obscurely lessened in the disheveled sheets near Cupid's raised calf. Poking out from behind his right thigh is the rim of a celestial globe, blue with gold stars. Astronomy, too, has been laid low by Cupid, who holds up two arrows to symbolize his triumph over all the works and schemes of industrious but easily tempted humanity. A violin and a lute, rendered in extreme foreshortening, are propped on a musical partbook. The source of the score depicted by Caravaggio in this painting is uncertain. For our concert, we selected the madrigal di baciar by begl'occhi, composed by Stefano Bernardi, to the verses penned by Gaspare Murtola. The Italian poet Gaspare Murtola had dedicated his poems to Caravaggio on the theme of conquering love.